Ladies and gentlemen, there is a phrase in the English language called delusions of grandeur. It describes a peculiar condition when people, with no good reason, start thinking they are the Queen of England, the lords and masters of all they survey, people who deserve special treatment. Netas in India are often afflicted with this disease. We call it the Lal Batti culture. And even though the Lal Batti has been outlawed in our country, our elected representatives find it very, very hard to let it go. Probably why in Karnataka, Netas across the political spectrum thought it was perfectly okay to demand on the floor of the House a separate VVIP lane at toll plazas. Why? Because they were being asked to show their passes at toll plazas, and that delayed their journey and also harassed them. Ladies and gentlemen, just look at this sense of entitlement. A, you have a free pass at toll plazas. That is not enough. Your ego gets hurt because the toll plaza and people employed there want to check your pass. And C, you already are entitled to use the emergency lane which is reserved for ambulances, and yet you want a separate lane for yourself. And not just for yourself, but for all ex-MLAs as well. The Speaker of the Karnataka Assembly, Mr. U.T. Khader, didn't really think it through when he asked the PWD minister to speak to the NHAI for separate VIP lanes for MLAs. Now, if he had taken a moment to think, he should have known the backlash the move would generate from citizens. Citizens pay taxes, taxes that build roads and highways. Citizens then pay toll on these highways. And Netas who get paid courtesy our taxes want to not just use these highways without paying a toll, they want a separate lane itself. Now, hilariously enough, the move prompted a backlash from BJP MP Tejasvi Surya as well. What he said wasn't wrong actually. He tweeted about the Congress government's Lal Batti mindset, etc., etc. But what he didn't realize was that his own party MLAs are rooting for the move. Here they are.
ಅವರನ್ನು ಕರೆಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಲೈನ್ ವಿಐಪಿ ಲೈನ್ ಅವರ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಮಾಜಿ ಶಾಸಕರು ಕೂಡ ಸೇರ್ಪಡೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು.
So now the speaker has said a separate lane for MLAs and ministers. Do you agree with that?
Yes, definitely there should be, because the government vehicle, elected representative vehicles, and all these things should be treated in a separate lane. No, you know, all the time this kind of nuisance happens. Means, do you want me? Do you want us to make quarrel with them? We will be in the public issues. We will be moving around here and there. If these people are traveling or the queue we have to follow, means how much time we are going to lose?
नहीं, वही है. अभी क्या है, पूरा जनरल क्यू में नहीं जा सकता है. आधा घंटा 1 घंटा उधर रोकना पड़ेगा. सो सेपरेट वीआईपी एम्बुलेंस का होना चाहिए. उधर नहीं है वो. सो जरूर होना चाहिए.
Ministers and MLAs, sir, on toll leave separate lanes for ministers and MLAs, sir.
What is that?
So do you think that should be required or not?
No, for ambulance, VIP, there's many problem in VIP. Everywhere they're stopping, they're enquiring. That's not good. So I think Speaker, what they are doing is correct.
Now, in all of this, former Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai was one of the few sane voices on the issue. He opposed the Speaker's statement. Listen in.
Also, issue of separate lanes for ministers and MLAs, sir. What do you have to say on that?
That is a VIP culture we are not allowed. It is very surprising that the Speaker has allowed it. Probably under the pressure of our esteemed friends in the Congress, he has done it.
Now, stung by the criticism, Mr. Kedar, who's the Speaker of the Assembly, tried a quick U-turn but didn't end up making anything better. This is what he said.
No. There's no question of separate VVIP lane, and it's not practical also. How many VIPs will go, and who will say that? And there's no question of that. Only in the other toll, already the NHA has got a direction. Every toll has got an emergency and a representative and separate lane is there in every toll. And it is not there in Mysore Corridor Road. That was because the harassment was there. For that they have done. They are requested for this. That was told. One MLA was harassed by a tall person. Narendra Swamy is a MLA. And he had raised the question in the calling it in the assembly.
Now, Mr. Khadir is right in a way. There is already, as I said, a separate lane at toll plazas for MLAs. It's the emergency lane that was originally built for ambulances. Now Netas use it too. My colleague Deepak Bopanna, in fact, was at one of the toll plazas and getting us this report and, importantly, speaking to some citizens. Take a look.
One of the MLAs, of course, had requested that there should be, a separate lane because of continuous issues that they face. He's, of course, made that appeal inside the assembly where he's requested that the speaker can protect the rights of, the MLAs and has requested that, they should be providing for a separate lane. Now, you can see in this toll gate, of course, there is already a VIP and an ambulance lane that exists. And of course, because of the FASTag availability, there is easy movement more often than not. But even then, the MLA seems to want a separate lane where they could move without any sort of hassles. But the question here is, when there is a lane that has been designated, when MLA movements are not there, of course they do allow normal vehicular movements so that the public is not inconvenienced. And more often than not, they do, of course, get away without even paying because there's an exemption with the MLA pass that they carry. Now the MLAs in Karnataka want a separate lane for the VIP movement of the MLAs. Do you think it's right?
First of all, we have to create the different lane system. First of all, we're struggling during the peak hours from 8 to 10 o'clock and the evening from 5 to 7 o'clock. We have to wait more than half an hour.
So do you think it's right for MLAs to have a separate lane, them asking them they should have separate lane?
Create the infrastructure. Make it easy for normal citizen people.
It should be common for all, and they are working for us. We are not, we should not be cautious about them. They should be cautious about us.
I guess there shouldn't be any separate lanes for the VIPs for majority of the highways. I don't know about the key highways, but because everyone who is traveling is always on the rush, because driving in itself is in the rush, everyone who stops at the lane, they don't want to spend more time. If you are, bringing out a rule, raising that issue in a parliament or in a assembly house, for that matter, it's sort of, it's not professional.
First of all, I would like to tell you that this is completely unacceptable. First of all, we are the taxpayers and we pay a lot of tax to the government, central and everyone. And there should not be this system like a free access lane to MLAs or others. It should be a same one. And I totally condemn this, and I don't agree with this decision he has raised in the assembly.
Since we are the taxpayers, and why specifically political party leaders want a separate VIP line? We also request VIP line. Everyone are equal, right? They are come up with our votes and they are requesting a special line, which is not agreeable from a common man. They have to go in a public line. How we follow, they also have to follow the same thing.
Now, it's not like our MLAs don't get paid. You get a house. You pay for electricity and water at subsidized rates. You're also entitled to a travel allowance, irrespective of which mode of transport you take. For example, if you're a legislator in Karnataka, you get 1,500 rupees travel allowance for attending each session at the assembly. When you come and attend the assembly, you're also getting paid for it. I will give you another example of perks that your legislators enjoy. While you stand in queues for an LPG cylinder, it's easier for Netas in Karnataka to get an LPG connection on quote-unquote top priority basis. To cut a long story short, there is no shortage of perks as far as our dear legislators are concerned. Now, it's not just citizens and Netas, but courts have had a view on VVIP treatment as well. If you remember, it was in 2013 that the Supreme Court had launched the first strike on VVIP treatment by demolishing, dismantling the Lal Batti culture. But then again, in 2018, the Madras High Court had cited unnecessary harassment and asked for a separate lane for VIPs. In fact, it had ordered the National Highways Authority of India to construct separate lanes for VIPs so that vehicles of VIPs and sitting judges could pass through without any hindrance. The Madras High Court in 2018 had also said, rather it had expressed disappointment seeing vehicles of VIPs and sitting judges being stopped at toll plazas. Is our Lal Batti culture a colonial hangover? I've often heard this statement. Perhaps it is, perhaps it's not. But let's quickly see how things work abroad. Let's just talk about the UK, for example. It ruled India for over 200 years. Earlier this year, Britain's Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, was slapped with a fine for riding in a car without wearing his seatbelt. He paid up without a fuss and he apologized. I have another example. Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair did something that most politicians won't do these days. His car got stuck in traffic when he was Prime Minister and decided to walk. There was no 20-car convoy clearing the road for him like you see in India. Can you imagine our Netas doing something like that? Mr. Santosh Hegde, your former Lokayukta of Karnataka, you're joining us on the broadcast. Thank you very much. We have Mohan Vishwa, who's spokesperson of the BJP, and Nivedit Alva is a Congress spokesperson joining us on the broadcast as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, first of all. I'll just quickly explain the format to you. I'll come to Mr. Hegde for a quick comment, and then we have a string of callers. So I'll take a couple of callers, and then I'll come to the politicians on the panel. Mr. Hegde, first of all, please could you tell me what you make of this entire move of a separate lane for VIPs and Netas and MLAs on a national highway? I mean, if I open up the phone lines, all four of us will not be able to speak because citizens have a lot to say on the issue, Mr. Hegde.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to know who are these MLAs or ministers also for that matter. They are only people's representatives. They are nobody superior to the citizens of this country, because in democracy it is the people who are the most important persons in this thing. Why should there be any discrimination between an MLA and an ordinary citizen? An ordinary citizen travels in his own car, pays for his petrol, pays the road tax, but he has got no privileges. Whereas people who are so-called elected representatives want a superior status than that of a citizen of this country. That is not the definition of democracy at all. That apart, I've been listening to the comments hitherto. There is a separate lane called the VIP lane in every toll. Now that VIP lane is used by ambulance, preferably they should be given preference on that, and by the so-called elected representatives, ministers and other people who are holding public office. Now people who are holding public office are not superior to the citizens of this country at all and all. They are Janata Sevaks.
Correct.
Very unfortunately, they do not think so. Everywhere they want to be recognized as somebody superior to the citizens of this country, and they want privileges which are not available to the citizens of this country. Look at the complaint. Even the VIP lane they are not satisfied with. They want a separate VIP lane for the elected representatives. What is the justification for that? An ordinary man who pays so much of a toll waits in a huge queue of 10-20 cars and all, when there is if at all there is an ambulance which might go ahead of them. Otherwise each one in the VIP lane hardly waits there for a couple of minutes. This question has now arisen because from what I read in the papers is that one MLA was asked to produce his ID card. Is it something wrong? If somebody is impersonating an elected representative and taking the advantage of that, the toll people should allow them to do it. Now what is this? I can't understand. You see, when we adopted democracy, it's our elders who were the members of the Constituent Assembly said, we Indians were never ever independent. We were under the rules of Rajas, Maharajas, Zamindars. Now that we're going to become independent, let us adopt a system by which every Indian feels that this governance is his, and by him and for him. That's why they chose democracy. The definition of democracy then, according to me, was government of some, by some, for some today, but it was government of the people, by the people, for the people at that point of time. So today, they are our masters. They are not public servants. Though the definition of public servant says he who draws any emoluments from the public treasury is a public servant. Look at this position now. They are superior to the citizens of this country. All right, they are given certain privileges.
That's what they
not
think.
enough for them.
That they certainly
That's
think.
exactly
As I said,
the
there's something
situation.
called delusions of grandeur.
No policeman.
A phrase we use in the English language.
Yes, it is so.
Can you give me a minute here? Mr. Hegde, I think. Mr. Hegde, you have articulated what a lot of citizens are saying this evening. We opened up our phone lines, and it's exactly what citizens who've been calling us from across the country, just by the way, not Karnataka, are saying. Astonished at this level of entitlement. The level of this sense of entitlement simply astonishes and shocks. There are no other words to describe it. Can I quickly take in two callers, one from Bangalore and one from Patiala? We have Brigadier Harika, who's calling us from Patiala. Good evening, Brigadier. Go ahead, please.
I'm totally surprised that why the MLAs have not asked for a total separate lane for themselves. They should have had a separate lane.
Yeah, I can hear you, Brigadier.
On one side, we are talking about a uniform civil code for this country. The same should apply everywhere else. Why on these perks? They get, if a chap becomes an MLA for 3 times, he gets 3 pensions. Where have you heard of this sort of a thing? I'm surprised the sort of perks that are being given to them without paying any taxes, without any responsibility. I personally feel it should be totally banned.
Thank you.
Perks and all, and they should behave like normal citizens.
They should behave like normal citizens. Okay, Brigadier, thank you very much. Nivedit, I want you to hear what citizens are saying, and Mohan Vishwa, and then maybe you can respond to them. I'm just a news anchor, but these are citizens who are speaking. These callers have not been selected. They are simply calling us, and we are putting, patching across whoever is calling us right now. So this is not orchestrated, just to tell you. Gautam, you're calling us from Bangalore. Good evening. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. This is Gautam from Bangalore. As these people have been selected by us, and they should give away the perks on their own. Why do they require? They have enough and more money.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sudhir, I can quickly come to you as well. You're calling us from Mumbai. Good evening.
Yes. Hello. Hello, ma'am.
Sudhir, boliye. I can hear you.
Okay. You see, madam, first off, hats off to your channel. You are taking one after another very good, sensitive issues. Now, my point is this. Now, these privileges, to what extent are to be enjoyed by these social workers, these MPs or MLAs? They are getting all privileges. All privileges they are getting. Even then, they are not satisfied. One after another, they want extra. Everything at the cost of the common man. What common man is actually getting? Not even whatever these days were declaring their manifesto. Not in one is completed. Just they give only when it is a election period, they give this will come. You will get 5,000 rupees. You will get 2,000 rupees. You will get this free, that free. All these people are getting everything free. And why does the Supreme Court not take so much to recognize this issue? Supreme Court should think on it seriously.
Okay.
To what extent they are going to enjoy?
Okay, Mr. Sudhir. I will just take 2 more callers, and then I'll go to my guests. I don't want to keep them waiting for too long. Sridhar, go ahead. You're calling us from Bangalore. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for taking me. The thing what I would like to just I'm unable to hear you. Are you able to? Yeah, I can hear you now. Can I go ahead, please?
Yes, go ahead.
The thing is, in fact, I am from Bangalore. I really understand the concerns of everybody. The most important thing, what I would like to say, when a common man who can afford, who cannot afford, is made to pay,
what exactly the problem for these politicians to pay? I can't understand anything about this. Absolutely, it is shocking. I am really hats off to you for having taken this. Ensure that it takes a logical conclusion. Probably, in fact, put up more pressure. And I necessarily feel that they don't need a separate VIP lane for that. Absolutely not. They are pretty common. They are common man. When in fact the Supreme Court has ordered no red lights on the vehicle, why do they require a separate lane for this? Absolutely.
Okay. I have two more callers, but as I promised, I'm going to the politicians now. Nivedit Alva, you've just heard from some citizens in this country. Some are from Karnataka. The others have called us from across India. In fact, I have I have at least 3 or 4 more callers waiting. Please help me understand what the Speaker of Karnataka was thinking when he said call up NHAI and ask them for a separate lane. Of course, today he's done a U-turn and some damage control and saying, nahi, main to sirf Bangalore-Mysore expressway ke baare mein baat kar raha tha. But the fact is that he should have thought through what he was saying. This reeks of VVIP culture, something that has irritated regular citizens like me for a very long while.
Okay. Hi, good evening. I've listened to all the various points of view raised, and just give me a couple of minutes to say what I'm trying to say. So first of all, this issue was not raised by the Speaker. It was raised by an MLA on the floor of the Assembly as to an issue which he faced. That is where it came up. And after that, the Minister was asked to explain. Now, first of all, on any national highway you travel on, as per the rules laid out by the Government of India, on any national highway, as soon as you come up to a toll, you will see a list of everyone from the Honorable President of India downwards to everyone who is exempt. That is the rule of law. That is what the Government of India rules on national highways state. So that is not what anybody is asking to be changed. Secondly, there is already a lane. The issue which was raised on the floor of the Assembly in a civilized manner in Karnataka, unlike in Uttar Pradesh and in other states where we've seen where toll plazas have been smashed by MLAs and things have been taken, law has been taken into their own hands, was that on the new Mysore Expressway, this issue was faced where the local MLA himself was asked repeatedly, not once, to show his ID. Now, what happens in a lot of these toll plazas is that the people who are employed are from other states. They don't speak the local language. They don't understand what the nuances are. So that is why this happens. Thirdly, when you talk about VIP culture and the points you raised, I'd like to put on record that the Honorable Chief Minister of Karnataka, Shri Siddaramaiah ji, is the first CM, at least of late in the last, I don't know how many years, the day he was sworn in itself gave up the zero traffic culture and said that I will not be requiring it and I will not use it. Now, the debate which you have sidestepped completely is why is there a blockage? Why are each of these tolls taking so long? The Honorable Union Minister for Highways, Nitin Gadkari ji, always surveys from the air, has gone on record multiple times saying that the wait should not be more than 60 seconds. Why is the wait repeatedly so long in each of these toll plazas and where we are paying toll? That is an issue which you have sidestepped completely. Is that why are ordinary citizens having to pay toll at plazas and being made to wait repeatedly for so long? The fact is that these lanes for elected representatives and for whether it is MLAs, and you talked about MLA salaries. I mean, why are you you're putting your gun on the shoulder of this debate and firing at Karnataka? Don't MLAs in other states get salaries? Don't they get? Why is this Karnataka issue have you raised that Karnataka MLAs get salaries, Karnataka MLAs get paid? That is the same for every state in the country. Is it something unique that you're seeing in Karnataka? And more importantly, I would just like to say that the people are calling in the
Mr. Alva, complete your point and I'll just counter you.
No, I'm sorry. The point of the matter is that this is the law. If you have a problem
complete your point.
Okay, I'll complete.
Complete your point,
I'm completing.
and I'll counter you. I'll counter you on a couple of charges.
Nowhere has anyone said that a special lane needs to happen. The point has been lost in translation. It was that the repeatedly being stopped in the same place by the same people and not being able to recognize and constantly saying, "Give us your ID," which is what the issue was. Now, if they're able to solve that, well and good. If they're not, because this is a union issue, this is not a state issue. A state government, nor the speaker, nor the union, the state minister can make this change. The NHI has come under the union government, under the central government.
Mr. Alva,
and you're talking about convoys. I haven't seen you do an urban debate when MLAs in UP have smashed toll plazas. I haven't seen you do a urban debate on the size of the Prime Minister's convoy when you're talking about Rishi Sunak. Then compare Rishi Sunak to Narendra Modi ji. I mean, what points are you raising and where are you muddling the whole situation and trying to just take aim at Karnataka and fire for no reason? I don't understand. Nobody has said that they want any special privileges. The lane already exists.
Okay, Mr. Alva, you've made the points that you wanted to make.
Put it there.
Okay.
What the question we answered is why each one is taking so long.
So you're calling my argument muddled.
Yes, it is very muddled.
Mr. Alva, you're calling my argument muddled. Here's the thing. Let me. If that is your point of view. That is your point of view. You are welcome to keep it. That is why we've invited you over to the show.
You are talking about
now let me counter you on a couple of points.
What are we talking about?
Let me counter you on a couple of points.
Sure.
Mr. Alva, just let me counter you on a couple of points.
Sure.
You cannot say that I didn't give you time to speak on the show. You were invited because we knew you would have an opinion that was different from mine, right? Which is what a debate is all about.
Yes.
First things first, you are accusing me of sidestepping the issue that Mr. Nitin Gadkari said कि 60 seconds लगने चाहिए to clear a toll.
Yes.
Okay, I sidestepped the issue. Why have you sidestepped? No, just a minute. Why have you sidestepped the issue? The issue came up just because MLAs were being harassed. Did your MLAs come and say, people, citizens, everyone is being harassed because we are being asked to wait for more than 60 seconds and therefore maybe we should write to the NHAI? Instead, what was said, we are being harassed, we are being asked to show our passes multiple times and therefore the speaker is saying, okay, let's write to the NHAI and ask them for a separate lane at the Mysore-Bangalore expressway. Mr. Nivit Alva, ये भी तो देख लीजिए ना आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं?
I'll answer that. Can I answer
and the fact also is, Mr. Alva, for some... Also, fact is, Mr. Alva, somehow you're trying to make this BJP versus Congress when you cite Uttar Pradesh's example.
I am not at all trying to do that.
मैं आपको बता दूं, Mr. Alva, no, that's exactly what you're trying to do. Now the point is, in this case, even BJP MLAs are supporting the move. BJP.
Can I answer that?
That's the truth. Today, our reporter has spoken to many BJP MLAs who were supporting the move. Much like the Congress. Yes, Mr. Alva, go ahead. I have to get the BJP spokesperson in as well, but go ahead.
I am not turning this into a BJP versus
and 10 seconds,
Congress
please.
debate. I am not turning this into a BJP versus Congress debate at all. I am saying if an MLA faced an issue, whatever it may be, does he not have a right to raise it on the floor of the Assembly? He is doing it in a civilized way according to what the norms are. Now, whatever happens after that, the decision can only be taken by the person who can take the decision. He has raised an issue, whatever it may be.
He does. But is the solution pulling in a privilege and saying, look, I'm entitled and therefore a separate lane bana dete hain sab MLAs ke liye? Because that was the solution that was found.
They do not have the right to give that solution. Only the government of India can give that solution. They have only debated it on the floor of the Assembly.
Mr. Khader gave that solution.
The power or the right to do it.
Mr. Khader gave that solution on camera, sir.
Yeah, only the government of India can make that rule.
Mr. Khader gave that solution on camera.
It is not a state government subject. They cannot bring that rule.
Yes, I know that. I understand that. But it was the Speaker of the Karnataka Assembly who gave that solution on the floor of the House. And you can't even accuse me of misquoting him because it's on camera, sir.
But madam, everything spoken on the floor of the Assembly everywhere, then if you start debating, you know what the debates in this country will be like. It is on the floor of the Assembly. They have discussed something and a solution has been found. If a solution is not found,
the PWD minister was asked to make a call to the NHAI. The PWD minister was asked to make a call to the NHAI to tell them to make a separate lane and not just for existing MLAs, serving MLAs, but retired ones as well. Come on, Mr. Alva. Come on. Okay, can I just take in 2 more callers?
The rules are on the road. Nobody can change those rules by a phone call. That is common sense.
Can I just take in 2 more callers? If I have 2 more callers, I think Anusha is waiting for us, Mr. Alva. Just give me a moment here, and I'll get Mr. Vishwa Mohan in as well. Anusha, you're calling us from Mumbai, I believe. Go ahead. Good evening.
Yes, thank you. Isn't it shameful to make such an unreasonable demand? Why a separate lane? This translates into the idea that they consider themselves a class apart from the people who have elected them. Who has elected them and what for? They are only public servants to the extent that they have to serve their constituencies. They are only meant to develop their constituencies and make use of all the grants that they are given. Just now I saw the information flashing on the screen that 1,500 for every Vidhan Sabha meeting and committee meeting separately. It is disgraceful. So every neighbor wants to clamor for power and see that he gets voted into power only because he wants to enjoy all these subsidies. What is the constructive activity they're ever doing? Do they ever speak and try and develop the constituency? You see the condition after every monsoon throughout the country. And this is disgraceful. You already have fast-tag lane. It takes us quite fast. That has been my experience. Just this idea that you're a class apart has to be completely, opposed. And I think nationwide there should be a legislation that no such VIP word exists. Who is a VIP? Everybody is one among us. That is a democracy. And you have separate lanes for fire engines and ambulances only. They are unabashed. And I still remember cases where in Uttar Pradesh, one MLA started ruining and destroying the infrastructure because he entered into a fight at a toll plaza. How isn't it really shameful? They should come. This very
Thank you very much.
For which we
Thank you, Anusha ji. Okay. Thank you. I can take one caller from Chennai and then I'll go to Mr. Vishwa Mohan. Natarajan, you're calling us from Chennai. Good evening. Go ahead, please.
Good evening. I appreciate your channel because you take up the good issues unlike your other sister channel, which is one-sided. You know which channel I'm referring to. You understand my point? See, you are concentrating mostly on non-BJP states. Please concentrate on BJP states also. Now coming to the point, this is a welcome move as far as myself is concerned. See, whenever the VIP is going, actually what they do is they close the many roads for hours together. Instead of that, if a separate lane is allocated to them, it is good for the public also, From in the earlier government, they were taking 40% commissions. That amount is something else. If they are going to do few crores, I don't think it is going to matter at all. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you for your opinion. Mr. Vishwa Mohan, would you want to come in here? I don't even think I need to ask you a question. Why were your MLAs supporting
now
the
I'm
move?
getting a time.
It's just
See,
terrible
Shreya.
optics. Sir, what to say? Mr. Vishwa Mohan, see, citizens for us are VVIPs. No, Netas are not VVIPs. What to say?
Shreya, as a party, we definitely oppose this VVIP culture. I do stand with Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, what he said, even though two of our MLAs would have supported this. I am openly telling you on your channel. Okay, so we never supported such things. And also, I would like to correct our Congress spokesperson where he said Mr. Siddaramaiah was the one who took out zero traffic culture when he became a chief minister. I would like to remind him that it was Mr. Basavaraj Bommai who took out zero traffic culture then. It's not Siddaramaiah for the first time he did it. And you would send your reporter tomorrow itself. You can find Mr. Siddaramaiah is roaming around throughout the state with zero traffic only even today. The same culture has been continued to his MLAs also. Come on, if there is issue with any one or two MLAs in the toll plaza, there are other solutions available. No, the exclusive line for VIP is not a solution. So as a BJP party, we never support such kind of separate VVIP, treatment at any level altogether for that matter. As I was telling you, starting from our Prime Minister, till
Mr.
the Chief
Vishwa
Minister
Mohan.
or till the MLA, except for, one or two who said in the,
Mr.
when you
Vishwa
report
Mohan.
that, we never support such kind of
Mr.
VVIP
Vishwa
culture. We are
Mohan.
with the people. We
It
are
was in
definitely for it.
2021. It was in 2021, Mr. Vishwa Mohan. I just want to remind you that the idea was first floated in the assembly when the issue first cropped up. So there has been no vehement opposition to it. In fact, there has been support by our MLAs to it today in front of television cameras outside the assembly, sir. So you can keep telling me that, Prime Minister Modi is very nice, doesn't believe in VIP culture, doesn't believe in Lal Batti culture, but you have to be seen to be walking the talk. And were BJP
Hey.
MLAs today seen walking the talk? No, they weren't.
So yeah, that's what I said. I stood with, Basavaraj Bommai, who was ex-chief minister, who was immediate chief minister, who was instrumental in bringing that in the state of Karnataka. At the same time, Mr. Nivedit raised one more point regarding Nitin Gadkari. He said, I would like to remind, you see, this is the problem with the Congress. You take the same Bangalore-Mysore Express highway itself. When the highway was constructed, when it was inaugurated, they were taking the credit for construction. They said it's not central government, it's we who are the state government. Now, when it comes to an issue with his own MLA, who are facing some sort of an issue in the toll plaza, he's blaming and he's showing his finger towards Nitin Gadkari who's at the center. So this is the double standard of Congress. Come on, what kind of, the mindset they can have over here? So what I am saying is, I'm reiterating again and again, I do second Mr. Basavaraj Bommai. We won't support any such kind of VVIP culture in the state.
Okay. Mr. Hegde, Mr. Alva is saying you're spinning the story. I think that is the accusation. That you're spinning the story, you're perhaps misrepresenting facts as well. Mr. Alva, I'm assuming that that's what I understood of your charge, and it's only fair for us to get Mr. Hegde in to decide if we were spinning the story. I'll come to you as well, Mr. Alva. Give me a moment, I'll come to you as well. Mr. Hegde, is that what we are doing? Spinning the story, making politicians and MLAs villains unnecessarily?
According to me, the issue raised by the MLA in the assembly was not a public issue or an issue which was in the agenda. It was his personal problem, he was raising it and all. He could have raised it with the executive, he could have raised it outside the assembly with the minister concerned or otherwise. He did not have wasted the time of the assembly, because every minute of the assembly time cost lakhs and lakhs of rupees to the citizens of India, or the Karnataka, the thing and all. If he had some difficulty with a particular toll, he should have gone to the transport minister or some minister concerned and complained to him, rather than wasting the time of the assembly, whether an MLA should be given a separate lane or not. When emergency lane was created, it was not a legislative act and all, it is an executive act and all. Therefore, it is, according to me, if tomorrow there is no water supply in MLA's house, there will be discussion in the assembly. These are personal matters, not matters for which the people of Karnataka are paying to the MLAs and other expenses of the legislature. Now, coming back to the issue of this thing, and all, as I said, the elected representatives are nobody other than the citizen of this country, and is a representative of the citizen. Therefore, they should not have these perks which an ordinary citizen does not have. Anyway, it is there in almost all the tolls. That's a VIP lane where the MLAs are using it and all, where a citizen is not allowed to use it and all. Maybe in Mysore-Bangalore highway it is not there, then it is an issue in one toll only, and it can't be an issue with the public issue to be discussed in the assembly. Therefore, in my opinion, the demand made by the MLA, it should not have been made in the assembly. And secondly, assuming that it is possible, then they should not have this thing which discriminates the right of a citizen.
Okay. Mr. Alva, 20 seconds please, then I have to take 2 callers as well and wrap the show, but go ahead.
Just to clarify, I mean, at no point of time did I ever say that the MLA is superior to the citizen. I'm just clarifying that. The second thing is, like I said, the lanes already exist. It is about how they are used is where the debate was and where it should have been. And the third thing, with regard to my good friend Mohan, who talked about Basavaraj Bommai's zero traffic, but unfortunately he lives in Bangalore South and I live in Bangalore. I'm based in Bangalore North, so I have witnessed Basavaraj Bommaiji's zero traffic for myself. So I'm not going to get into that debate. I could agree with him, but then we would both be wrong. So the point being that this was raised in the assembly. I still believe it was raised in a dignified manner, and it was put on the floor of the assembly. And where it goes after that is the way it is. And when I said sidestepping the debate, I meant because if you look at the graphics which you're running, you're talking about MLAs in Karnataka being able to buy discarded defense vehicles. You're talking about MLAs in Karnataka, the salaries. So that is what I'm saying. This is the same in every state. It is not anything which is special to Karnataka, Netas and their perks as it's being called
But today's
on
story,
the screen. It is every single state, right? It is not that that's anything unique. And the last point I
The
just want to make is
graphics are for
a
Karnataka,
lot of the callers.
Mr. Alva. The graphics are for Karnataka because the story is from Karnataka.
Okay, but a lot of the callers who are calling in from Maharashtra talking about the state of apathy there. I can feel their pain because if anybody sees what's going on in Maharashtra currently and for the last couple of years, it's understandable. So their pain is completely justified. I mean, I can understand where they're coming from.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. I'll quickly take in 3 more callers and then wrap the show. Thank you, all of you. All right, I believe we have Mr. Parvesh. No, we have Sam from Faridabad calling us. Sam, go ahead, please.
Thank you, ma'am. See, one thing which I noticed, the bonhomie between the opposition and the ruling party on matters when it comes to their own personal things, and how fast they put their personal issue before the assembly, where they should have literally spent the time for the people of the state. And have they ever thought that how much time people have to spend on a faulty toll plazas when people wait in the in the queue? In many of the places it happens, not just in Karnataka. Every place it happens. And see, I'm alarmed by the bonhomie which they both have. It is surprising, and I will like to remind Mr. Alva that arrogance of power should not come so soon. You are just only a few weeks into the government, and you need to be very careful, people, because people are watching. If you behave the way all of them are behaving, people know how to deal with it. Thank you.
Okay, Sam. Good to have you on the show. You're calling us from Faridabad. Thank you very much. Parvesh, you're calling us from Bangalore, and it's only fitting that we, take our last caller from Bangalore. So, Parvesh, please go ahead. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening. See, this is a mindset which shows a elitist mindset. So, before election, they mentioned that they stand for the poor and Dalit and all that stuff. Whether poor people require a separate lane and a car, do they have car? So once you are elected, your mindset is totally changed. That you want to show in each and every step that you are different from the common man, whereas they are representative of the common man.
Okay.
I will say that even their perks should be withdrawn because no common man enjoys those perks. So this is what I want to say.
Okay. Thank you so much. Our next caller is from Muhammad Ali. Is from Vishakhapatnam. Muhammad Ali, please go ahead. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, madam. Thank you for allowing me to speak here. 2 words. Yeah, this is very bad. If any MLA or MP or minister, whatever it may be, asking for a separate lane, definitely it has to be condemned. Okay, first thing. Secondly, the important thing I'm asking, there was this Mr. Santosh Hegde with the no-cut for last 5 years. Where you are hiding? He did not get any issue to speak on TV channel. And this is the first time he is getting it because Congress, some other party has come. He is afraid of BJP. That is why you are not able to speak. Till now, till this election is over. Now, once the election is over, some other party has come in power. So now he started opening his mouth. Where was he?
That is because, sir, Mr. Muhammad Ali, here's what I'll say. He opened his mouth because we asked him to come and talk to us about what we felt was completely unjustified, which is why he's coming and talking about it. Now, if the speaker during the last regime had come out and said that call up the NHI and ask them to make a separate VIP lane for MLAs, then it is something we would have discussed once again, because irrespective of whether the speaker is from the BJP or the Congress, what is wrong and needs to be called out. And even then, Mr. Santosh Hegde would have been called on the show, and I'm 100% sure he would have said exactly what he has said today. I have confidence in that. But Mr. Ali, thank you very much. Nagesh, you're calling us from Pune. Go ahead, please. Good evening.
Yeah, I'm in Pune and I'm seeing what's happening in Maharashtra and what's happening with NCP and all that thing. And at the end of the day, I feel that the politicians are all up to themselves and they're all in unison. And this just, they think that they're doing a charity for the people wherever they are in power. They think that they're charity it's always said that charity begins at home. And they want to start it with their own perks, with everybody supporting and in the assembly. And, they can do whatever they want. And whatever they give us is something that they have given from their pocket and not from the taxpayers' money. And, they feel that they have done a favor to the people. And that's a very sad state of affairs that we are in. I'm absolutely distressed the way it is.
Okay. Okay, Nageshji, thank you very much. Our next caller is from Chennai, Mr. P. Kumar. Mr. P. Kumar, go ahead, please. Good evening.
Shreya, thank you so much for all the very lively issues you are raising every day, and I'm on your call every time, So thank you so much, See, what is happening now, all these politicians, etc., they are the brand ambassador of our country, and then they show little kind of decency and soberness, not only outside the assembly, inside also. You will not believe they are just behaving like that Raya Bahadurs of the British era, when the Britishers have picked them up for, looting the taxation and other things. The same thing is happening over there. Though we are saying it is a Loktantra, it is no longer a Loktantra of them. And my BJP friend who is there, let me just remind him, I was there in Bombay when Honorable Prime Minister came to the Shanmukhanand Hall for getting the Lata Mangeshkar Award. I got stuck up 4 hours in Andheri towards going to the airport. 4 hours. Can you believe it was Sunday? So, when they make any wide statements that BJP is not doing, they should see and explore where they are doing mistake, So, Bangalore, Delhi and Bombay, there should not be any such kind of, blockage or any procession also. Processions, etc., they should only allow on Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Because these are 3 big revenue collecting and, duty collecting cities where we should not hamper the everyday, workforce, So I request Honorable Prime Minister also, he should go in those places, not with Shanmukhanand Hall and all, etc. He can take a chopper and straight away go over there. 4 hours, we got stuck up in Andheri, 4 hours.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, I agree. I've been stuck in VIP movement in Mumbai as well for a couple of hours at least. So I understand what you're saying. And when the BJP accuses the Congress of VVIP culture and Netas not having long convoys, that's very far from the truth. Anyhow, let's get in Jaswant as well. Jaswant, you're calling us from Ghaziabad. You'll be our last caller, ladies and gentlemen. We are shutting our call lines because I do have to move on the show. But I'm thanking all our viewers for calling us. It's great to see your response. Jaswant, go ahead. Good evening.
We are agree with you, madam. Hello?
Okay, Jaswantji. Thank you very much. And yes, Mr. Jaswant.
You have raised a very, very
bad phone line. I think it's a bad line, so we'll just wrap it there. Thank you very much, Jaswantji. You said you agree with us. Many citizens agree with us, but do Netas agree with us? Clearly not. Clearly not by the looks of it. Anyhow, it's their perks that are going to be hit. Why should they agree with us? We'll wrap the show.